everybody. I really think, I really feel very, very happy that we're all together, because so many times I have seen you through your link, but it's not the same. I would like to rush on the screen and talk, but it was a link. So I'm physiotherapist, specialized in Bobov method and neurodevelopmental treatment since 1982. I'm 64 years old, 2.5 years retired from my beloved school. I don't feel very well because of this. I don't like being in retirement. I don't like it. But thanks that I have the center and I can go there to do hippotherapy since 2000. So I have master in kinesiology and also an MBA, as I was president in this facility 17 years, and I understood finally that you need an MBA because you have to do so many things with the personnel, everything. And I did it when I was 59 years old. I like so much Carol and Leslie because we are talking so often in Messenger. I like exchanging experiences all the time. I can never say that I know everything. Never. I want to learn things more and more.
No,
I don't.
None of us can ever say that, Maria.
Yeah. I don't hesitate to. Sorry about my English. You understand? To ask all the time. To ask. And,
yes.
Carol and Laurie is, I can say, my mentors. I like discussing in the physiotherapy field what is happening on the horse. I'm crazy with horses. I'm not a good rider. I can say I can walk with a horse. I can trot or gallop. I avoid galloping because now we are growing up. But all the time I'm on the horse and I try to feel what is happening to my patients. Otherwise, you cannot teach something to them. I'm really very happy. I have a screenshot from all of us. I will send the photo.
Okay.
Everybody's sleeping here. I have closed the bedroom's doors. And okay, in Greece it's 2:30. It's early in the morning.
2:00 in the morning in Sarah's, Greece. Yeah. Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much for joining us.
If somebody wants to have, maybe wants to have a second part course about AHA, you can come in Greece and to do it with Carol and Leslie.
Maria's planning to host a part 2 course in Sarah's at some point in the future. So we're very excited about that. Yes.
Nice to meet you all. Nice to meet you.
Lisa Skinner.
Hi. Yes, I'm Lisa Skinner. I'm a speech therapist. I live near Houston, Texas. And I've been dabbling in trying to get started in hippotherapy probably since 2017. But I finally decided after my level 1s and level 2 courses to go ahead and get certified and do the certification with the AHCB. And now I'm going to work towards the HBCS level.
Awesome.
And I also got certified as a therapeutic riding instructor because I just felt very strongly that it really helped to understand everything about the movement of the horse and the movement of myself and everything. Kind of helped me apply what I've learned. But I did the certification exam with the certification board. It really does jump you a level of knowledge, which has been really great in terms of treatment. And so in the fall of 2022, I finally transitioned to a nice little barn. They're allowing me to do hippotherapy there, and I've gotten my own little herd. I have 2 ponies and 2 horses, and I'm doing it.
Awesome.
I have my own business, so it's really been fantastic.
That's great. Shannon, do you and Lisa know each other?
I met Shannon in the past, and Shannon was very good.
Okay,
But,
all right. Well, two
now-
SLPs in Texas. So
Yes,
yeah, so
And I am
That's
going to
great.
also be incorporating it at SIRE, therapeutic horsemanship here in Texas as well.
okay.
out of Castle.
Wow, very good. Awesome. Thank you. All right, we have a couple of people that just have their names up, so I don't know if they want to come on, but either Monica or Michelle, if you would like to introduce yourselves, please feel free. If not, we understand as well. Oh, there's Monica.
Hi, I'm ready for bed. I'm sorry. I'm Monica Wu. I'm from outside of Boston, in Bedford, Mass. Actually, I used to live in Lexington, Mass. I just moved 20 minutes down the road. Let's see. I am an OT. I am a clinical specialist also, and I have my PATH CTRI, which I just renewed. And I began incorporating hippotherapy as a treatment strategy in 2005. In 2007, took all the courses through AHA. 2007, I founded my own little private OT practice, Rainbow Therapy. You may have seen stuff of rainbows and stuff like that from me. And I have just recently brought on a speech and language pathologist contract. She doesn't incorporate the movement, but we piggyback. So I'll provide services and then they'll go on to speech therapy in the farm setting.
Awesome.
And I also have a contract PT that works alongside with me. And that's about it. And this is my first meeting, so
Yes,
I'm kind of sitting on my
welcome.
comfy couch and
Well, you do that and feel free to,
Yeah.
feel free to leave your video on or turn it off,
Okay.
or whatever you feel comfortable with.
okay, great.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll be looking forward to your input. I know that I know that Susan's looking forward to all the input. And then Michelle, I don't know if you would like to get on or not. We'll obviously we're not forcing anybody to show their face if they don't want to. All right, well, Susan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and we can move forward.
Okay, so my name is Susan Facina. I'm a PT. I started back in New Jersey. I graduated PT school back in '83. And then I did a lot of outpatient ortho in San Diego for over 25 years. But for the last 24 years, I've been serving a rural community down in Ensenada, Mexico, where there's very little resources for children with disabilities. And so about 3 years, probably 4 years ago, my husband and I started incorporating equine movement to the kids in our neighborhood. And it just seemed like it was such an effective tool and so globally available for us. And so that's when we started utilizing equine movement in our treatment plans. And it was so wonderful for the kids in our area. And so now we have our own ranch. It's called His Wings Ranch. It's in a very rural part of Montevideo. Yes, I'm a PT, but because of the poor community where we live, I also have to wear a lot of hats. So I love what Beth said, about getting in trouble. Boy, I would get in trouble big time if people saw my practice act and what we have to do here. But our parents don't complain because they're getting help for their children. Our program now is up to 40 children with disabilities. I have now hired a young special needs teacher who's part of us. And I have a Mexican PT who just graduated, and I actually helped raise her, known her since she was 4 years old. And so she is now being a physical therapist. I am 61 years old. So I'm trying to just leave a legacy for Baja California as we move forward into the future, developing programs. I did take the part 1 through COVID when it was just on the online. And then I met Carol recently in November, I think it was, when I went to North Carolina, which is a big haul from Ensenada, but I felt it was really, really important for me to do the part 2. And I'm really thankful now, obviously, because now I know Carol and she brought me into this amazing group because we have very little resources. There's no speech therapist. OT doesn't exist. So I wear a lot of OT, PT. I do special needs teaching. A lot of our kids are rural. They don't even read and write when they're typically developing. So I'm also teacher to Indigenous speaking children. So it's a little bit of everything. So this is a great venue for me, and I'm really appreciating all your input and all your help globally, because I don't have any interdisciplinary help at all down where we live. So this is a beautiful venue and a beautiful way for me to hear from all of you to help me improve the quality of the lives of the children that God has brought into our life down in Ensenada, Mexico. So thank you, everyone, for everything you're going to offer and share, because we need a little bit of everything. We need a little hope from our friends. And so I'm glad that you guys are all here.
Thank you, Susan. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. You sent me just a couple of video snippets, so I don't know where you want to go with that. Did you want to talk first? Did you have questions? How did you want to move forward this evening?
Yeah, it's actually because it's so good to see you guys to give us ideas and inputs, and we're trying to expand what we do with the kids to expand their speech. Most of our kids are either nonverbal, or they are pre-verbal, or they're just starting out. And so I just did a couple of, because we're so busy and it's hard because we're really small. So it's hard to take the videos and talk and all that. But the two snippets I was definitely kids on the autistic spectrum, and a little bit of activities that we were doing that were bringing out some speech. And so excited to not even be a speech therapist and then just hear kids start singing, when they're on the horse. It's just like a miracle to me. I mean, this is awesome. So yeah, the snippets are that. So maybe some ideas and some input kind of from the speech therapy perspective, which is our weakest area, obviously. And then some ideas from the OTs as far as what you guys kind of do, your activities, and how you incorporate your disciplines in your programs.
All right, so let me go ahead and screen share. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go back and forth with the little snippets that I've got today. So I think I've got one pulled up that I can share to start with, and then we will go from there. All right, so what I usually do is I'll run this in slow-mo. Let's see here if I can. Sorry.
Is there audio in that? Because I think he starts singing.
Oh, does he start to talk? Okay.
Yeah, he starts
All right.
to kind of sing, I think.
Okay,
when
let
he goes
me
from the
see
two.
if I can get my volume up. So sorry, I've put up my volume as high as it can, and I don't think it's changed anything.
Yeah, it's weird because what we do now with that activity, we tell him to pick a certain color. So he has to get the orange, and then he has to go around to find the corresponding color bucket, the orange bucket, and let us know when we get there. And we've yet done it verbally, but we've also done it with those buttons. So sometimes with him, we started using that button where it says para, which means stop. And so he has to hit this button that says para to stop when it's the right color. And then he puts it in, and then he has to hit the other button to go again. But after this activity, he started to sing, believe it or not, he was singing a song about was it Old MacDonald had had a farm, and they were Spanish speakers, but a lot of my kids prefer English. So he actually learned the McDonald song in English. So he started singing that in English as he's going from one cone to the other. But you can't hear it.
So
Weird.
this child is on the spectrum, is that correct?
Yes, correct. He
And-
is 3.
Okay, and he had been nonverbal prior to starting working with you?
Yeah, 100%, no words, nothing.
Okay, and so when did, and now he's singing songs?
Yeah, he was singing, "Oh, McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O," as he's
Wow.
going from one cone to the other. Yeah, we are on a farm, and he does see cows around there. We have cows that are running around and sheep are running around. They're not ours, but they're neighbors. Yeah, and he just started singing that song while we started doing this activity, which blew my mind, actually. And his dad, you can see his dad is like taking video, and he's like getting emotional because all of a sudden he starts breaking out from nothing to a song.
And he didn't say even a
May
word.
Are you curious as to how to progress in that area for speech?
For sure, because sometimes they start out just saying a few words and stuff, and we get all excited, but then we don't know how to go from there to get like 2 words in a row, or to get more purposeful, because sometimes he's just, just kind of humming to himself and not necessarily talking to me necessarily,
Because I do treat kiddos, a kiddo on the spectrum in particular, who is now starting to say words, not able to produce any consonant sounds, and now he's putting 2-syllable consonant sounds together. But we do a lot of it where he's actually you're having to elicit him to say, like, "I want," and he's putting that together now. "I want," with words and gestures. Sometimes if you just incorporate gestures along with the speech,
Mhm.
you can learn different ways to do functional communication, such as expression. I'm sure there's lots of different little things you can add in there, but not sure if you need speech path to come up with some goals. I don't know how you would go about all of that, since you're
Yeah.
I'm bilingual too, so I understand.
Wow, that's great.
I mean, if there's some way I could help, please, maybe I can.
Yeah, and maybe just taking a few more videos and maybe shooting to you individually and saying, "This is what we're doing." And if you can say, "Well, try this or try that." I mean, we do have some Loma Linda University students. They come down with their teachers periodically once in a while and give us some ideas, but they don't do anything on the horse. Obviously, they're just students. And so they're coming down to get that experience of being intercultural and all that. But yeah, sometimes it's like, wow, this is so cool. And then, okay, now what do I do?
I feel the same about everything else from PT to OT myself. So it's hard. It's like it all overlaps so much, but then you're like, what do I do about this part? I don't know what to do.
Yeah, there's a piece missing.
So maybe we can help each other. I'd be glad to help if there's something I can do, for sure.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
I would jump on with that old McDonald. If he's singing it, I would start singing it with him and see if you can tell that he kind of realizes. Does he recognize that you're singing it with him? Do you get more eye contact? Old McDonald is really cool from a speech standpoint, the E-I-E-I-O, and then all of the moo, moo, nay, nay. I go ahead and do oink, oink. I don't do a snort. But a lot of those are consonant, vowel. So like the ba, ba, nay, nay, moo, moo are some of those first beginning consonant vowel combos, like kind of like mama, dada. You're going back to kind of a basic. And then you're just teaching all the animals too. So you're building vocabulary. And yeah, with a lot of these guys, if they like song, I get with parents, what are their favorite songs? And you might want to do like, he had a farm, on the farm he had a, and see if he'll fill in a word. Or if he doesn't and you pick cow with a, and see if he fills in moo. And just kind of see if we call it sentence completion, where you set it up, it's like 1, 2, and then they say 3. So they say kind of that automatic speech. But sometimes it's a good way to get into those who are more nonverbal. And it may be from a motor standpoint, it may just be, we're just not talking.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's great to prompt them, to encourage them and prompt them. Mhm.
It actually happens to be the song the little kiddo that I teach loves, and that is exactly how he started those consonant sounds. Was for Baba here, and he filled in like Shannon just mentioned. That song's amazing. He loves Wheels on the Bus, and he also loves Three Little Monkeys, and he'll actually lead in now when you kind of
Oh,
like sentence
nice.
completion. It's so yes, like she says, go with it, and all those environmental sounds too.
Okay, yeah, and I noticed he does it mostly on the horse.
Yep.
He sings on the horse, not so much anywhere else. It's like, it shocked me when he started doing that. His dad too, actually.
Yeah, and to build on what Lisa and Shannon were saying, acknowledge that. Say, hey, Juan Carlos, I love that I hear your voice and you're using words.
Mhm.
And go even further and saying, I'm so glad that your brain and your mouth are talking to each other. They're working together because I like words. Then I know what you like, and we can talk in words together. And I like using the, you have a very smart brain, and look at all those words that are up there. And I want them to come out of your mouth, and singing tells me that you can do that. So let's sing another song together.
Okay.
Or something else, because going from 0 to whole phrases in words shows you that his brain is very capable, but there's something that the horse is giving that allows it to come out, which is what we see, especially backwards. I see it more backwards than going forwards.
Well, you notice that's where he was. He goes backwards. He prefers backwards. Yeah, I don't know why, but he does.
And then where are you using the little buttons where you can record on
Yes,
them?
yes.
Okay, because can I share my screen for a second? Can I do that?
You can, yes. I think anybody can screen share.
Okay, because I want to show you this. I don't know, I can't see my own screen. It's really weird.
It just says Facebook.
Okay, is there a picture? There it is.
Now
Yes, there is. Yes.
Do you see this thing?
Yeah,
This thing in
yes.
front? It's made of what's it made of?
Neoprene?
Yes.
Looks like.
Well, you
Okay.
can cut it.
That's what it
'cause you
looks
can cut
like.
it. My friend I work with in Guadalajara made this for his kids with autism, and he puts different colored buttons on it, and you can have 1 to 4, and they have access to that right in front of them when they're on. Like this one's using it, like you said, for the basso, for go. And then they use it, but he makes those. So I'll
Beth,
send you
how
an
is-
email and you can send.
That is super cool. How is it attached to the horse? I see a carabiner.
Yes, it's on where they would hang the stirrups.
Okay.
So it's attached to where the stirrups would be on a bareback pad.
And does he just run that strap like between, is it foam between
It's
the
foam,
two
yes.
layers?
So there's a foam under that's solid, and then there's holes on the top. And so he can move the colors around for the different buttons on the different spots, and he has room for 4.
That's pretty brilliant.
That's awesome. I kept holding it, and yeah. And if they hold it in their hand, they'll throw it and stuff. So I
Yep.
like where that is.
Yeah.
And when we worked on this together, I said, you need to have the opportunity to have like all one color, different colors, have up to 4, and then you can rotate around and do different things and record each button for different kids. So it's worked really well.
That
But
looks great.
Beth, do you have the name of that person and their contact that you could put in the chat
yes, I
to
do.
share?
Mhm. Yeah,
Thank you.
he's a psychologist, and his program is in Guadalajara, and he used to have an OT that worked with him and a PT, but I don't know if they're still there, but he does everything. It's awesome. I love going there.
Wow.
I will put that in the chat and shop sharing.
Thank you. I love the posture of that client.
Mhm.
I have another low-tech setup that I did with a speechy. Now let me try and be technical and share my screen. Oh, here we go. Sorry, not so good with all this. Here we go. That and that. Does that work? Can you all see that?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah. There was another one there. That's the other one, just to show you. But basically, it's just low-tech communication board. We had all his favorite songs, all the animals. He would then pick whichever one. And we had it sort of on this iPad holder initially. And then in the end, we ended up taking that off and just strapping the actual laminated board, and then just used a surcingle and put it around in front of the roller there. So yeah, that worked really well as well for lots of my non-verbal or just kids just starting to interact with language.
So one question, the board is attached to, it's like a foam wedge. Is that what that is? I
Yeah.
can't- And
Yeah,
how is
it's
that
like a
attached
foam
so it
iPad
doesn't wobble?
holder.
Like, how
right.
do you attach that to the surcingle so it doesn't wobble around? I have an issue
Oh,
with
we
that.
cut
I don't
holes.
like wobbling.
Yeah. We cut holes in the back. So I put it in like that sort of or quite a hard plastic casing. And then I cut holes in the back and I strapped a strap through the back, and then that was what we attached. It took a
Okay.
little bit of jigging, but it did work. So that they couldn't pull it off, because we had all sorts of things and they just pull and, you know, have all sorts of fun. But that one was really secure and seemed to work really well.
Thanks, that's pretty cool.
No worries.
Another very good ideas, if I can say something, and something about, like you showed us before, in a command and in a Erasmus project we had with my school and European countries. My school and me personally thought of having an application called Horsey, Horsy, and before going to the barn or in the center, we were showing this application to the autistic children in my school, and they knew the whole procedure from the beginning, before going to the barn, and the whole procedure of the session of hypnotherapy. I mean, they was playing with the application in their computer. That we are going there, we have to take care of the horse, and the second step is to put the pad on the horse, and then we have to go on the horse. The whole procedure, you can find it. I will send you the name of the application, and it was more familiar for them. They knew it as playing a game, and then they face it live in the barn. Autistics.
So Maria, they used the app, they looked at the app before they went to the
Before.
barn. Now,
Yes,
could
yes,
they
yes.
access the app while they were at the barn as well?
Yes, they had it also.
Okay.
But many times they played with this in the school or maybe at home, and then they did it really in real life.
Because I could see how you could use it and say, okay, here's what we're doing now. Here's what we're going to do next.
Yes. And also,
You know,
when we were in Poland in this Erasmus project, we had a long time to find what button we have to what noise. For instance, if they didn't put in the right way the saddle or the stirrups or the lead, the reins, there was a button that showed them that it is fault. But how can we show the fault thing like smashing a mirror? But maybe they would like it, and they try to make the fault it was a big discussion with the psychologists, the physiotherapists, when we had the meeting in Poland. Very good work.
Very cool. So you think that's something we could all access as well? We could access this app as well?
Yes, yes, I will send it to you.
Okay. I'm gonna Google it while we're talking.
Yeah. Horsey, Horsy. Horsey. If you find
Is
it,
it-
you can
Is
show
it for it's an Android?
Yeah,
It says Horsey APK Android game
you found it?
I think so, aimed to introduce hippotherapeutic session to children with autism and Asperger.
Oh my
But,
gosh. Well, I haven't found it yet. So what did you Google to find it?
Probably
you can-
easier just for me to feed you the thing.
I can
Sorry,
show-
it's on my second
uh,
device.
Uh,
APKcombo.com.
this is Horsey. This is the sign, the photo of the
Okay.
application. This one.
But you're saying that's Android. I wouldn't find it on an Apple app then?
No.
No,
No.
You
Okay.
cannot.
for me, it's at apkcombo.com.
It's something like you can. This is. And I can play it. I can. Let's.
Oh, okay. I just found it. Free download. Okay, Android.
We did it in all the languages. For the,
Oh
for
my
the participants.
gosh, look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And for instance, in English, and we started. It has to choose brown hair or blonde hair. The
Oh,
child,
cute.
yeah, and then. Okay. The horse. They can see their horse, and then they can they can choose what horse they want. And there is difficulty: 1 star or 3 stars. There's levels for this.
Okay.
Levels. Yeah. For instance, they have this. This was the whole procedure. If you can understand, I'm not sure. And how to start and where to stop. We start here. Hello to the horse. Hello to It's if you find it's grooming time. So they have to. Here it was they have to choose the right thing to brush, for instance. Okay, don't.
What's the charge for this? Because mine is saying create your free account, but then it's saying verify your account with a credit card.
I can understand. Oh. You don't know. Then you have to dress the horse to put all these things. He has to choose what first, what second.
Oh gosh, this looks
Exactly.
awesome, Susan. If you were able to access this, this would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll try to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna try. I'll try that too.
I'm trying to get on, but I certainly don't want to be giving out my credit card number. So I'm just trying to figure this out.
But why? It's free for everybody. I don't know why.
Yeah, but it says verify your account for free. Give us your credit card number. That's where I'm at right now. So it's like, no, thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Why are we going to give it for free, but ask for credit card?
I will ask my headmaster. We do it together, and I will send it to.
Okay, thank you. That'll be great. That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, let me pull another video. Oh, is he trying to match the colored ring to the bucket?
Yes, that's exactly what he's trying to do.
Okay.
He has to pick up the one color, he has to look around and then find it and then somehow communicate to us when the horse has gotten to that particular bucket. Yeah.
Oh, and so how has he been communicating that?
He usually he's now he's starting to say the words, or at least like not really like maybe because it's blue, right? So he'll say azul, but he won't necessarily say azul. He'll maybe say the first letter, the first sound. He'll say azul, or sometimes he actually says blue, because a lot of my kids they switch back and forth for whatever reason between English and Spanish. Especially he does. And so he'll say blue, and then we'll say and then he won't necessarily do it. So then we'll stop at one and go, is this blue? And he'll shake his head. No, like he knows not to put it in. The only time he throws it in is when it's the right color. And then eventually, I could say, put the blue one in the orange and, those but right now we just started. So it's keeping it super simple. And just the same color, and he has to indicate to us when to start, when to stop. And so we started with just this, and then I added the button, just one button, because too many buttons wasn't going to work. So I just had the red button where it says para, which means stop. So with these guys, it's one thing at a time. So this was when we first started, and then once he got that pretty well, then we switched and we made him hit the button. So now he has to hit the button to stop. And sometimes he goes around a little bit because he's not paying attention. He does know his colors, but we say, okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And then finally he'll hit para and it'll be there. And then we let him throw the right one in there. And he needs a lot of first this, then that, first this, then that, a lot of that over and over and over and over. But yeah, like I said, he was nonverbal, 100% nonverbal. Not communicating, not paying attention, not looking at us. But he does better backwards. His attention's better backwards. That's why he's backwards. He's looking at it now. He looks at the color. He's thinking. There's a huge delay between telling him to do something and then waiting for him to be ready to do it. So it's just a process now. I mean, it's really slow, but he's starting to get it. So just, from all you speech people, input into like where do we go from here? Like we're just kind of winging it, and going with what seems to be working in baby steps.
Yes, and sounds like you are. I would just be adding in maybe gestures that are paired with words, not just hitting the button, but also doing the gesture for stop, a gesture for more, or again. Like there's different little gestures you can incorporate with that, because sometimes when they use the gesture along with the word, they'll eventually start using the word too. But
Okay. I do have they have special, they used to use American signs down there. Now they actually have Spanish Sign Language, and I do have the book of Spanish Sign Language. So I'll have to look those up. A lot of them I think are universal, but
I'm talking the simple. I do not claim to know any sign language other than the basic functional communication type signs that I pair with certain words for functional communication. I don't know if Shannon has any other suggestions.
Yeah,
Okay.
Susan, how many of the chapters did I send you of the Hannon language program?
I think it was 3.
3. Okay. Because that kind of takes you through how to add language, where you start with that one word and then you add another. So it could be like blue in. Look at what the function is. And it kind of teaches you, add a second word and then add a third word. So each time when he does one word, or if he does 2 words, you just add one more as you model it.
Okay.
Yeah, Speechies. I sent her the Hannon language program chapters, but we don't know where that came from. It's good stuff.
Magical. It's magical.
She took the course.
Yeah, anything goes in Mexico. We're all good.
We're good.
But since he loves to sing, make up songs for him. Like, you have the blue ring, you have the blue ring. Where's the blue bucket? Where's the blue bucket? And then change that
Ah.
around and add
Ah,
his
that's
name in it.
good.
And then said, you could say, oh, we want the horse to stop. We want the horse to stop at the blue bucket.
Mm.
So, and then maybe as we make up I've made make up songs all the time, especially for my kids with autism. They all have the same melody, but a whole bunch of different words. Because if it's the same melody, they know what it is. And so, and if you just start singing it, like, okay, great, let's go find the blue bucket. Let's, what ring do you have? Oh, nope, you can't sing blue because now your ring is red.
Mm.
And then maybe one time, since he's backwards, you pass the blue bucket and looking for his reaction, because
Mhm.
you're kind of the horse leader. I mean, is back here knowing where it is kind of already stopping. What if he doesn't? What if he walks by and you go, oh, that was the blue bucket. We missed it.
Okay.
Your brain didn't tell your mouth to say, bada. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
Tell your brain, I'm going to go turn on your brain. So actually go over, like, turn on his brain. Like, okay, now it's ready to talk to your mouth. And I'm waiting for that word. The horse is ready to hear that word.
Okay.
And just see if it works.
Okay.
Sometimes the fantasy of the
Another thing
therapist.
I do.
Okay. I mean that the fantasy of the therapist is a very good tool, and all the time. Sometimes especially when we are on the asphalt, I try to say song as Beth says, and according to the step of the horse, and he listened to the step, and also I tried like a metronome to go. You understand?
Yeah, singing to the beat of the horse.
Yes,
Where
yes,
you
yes.
match the beat with
Yes,
their footsteps.
yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, and just overall, one of my philosophies is that many of these kids have been told or hear that you can't do this, or this is hard for you. And so by taking it out and saying, hey, Carlos, you can't do that. So why don't you do this? I'm saying, oh, no, you have a great brain, but it's just not talking very well to your tongue. So we need to make sure that your tongue is listening to your brain, and it takes it away from who they are as a person and more toward, why isn't your brain working? Why isn't your tongue listening? Let me see your tongue. Stick out your tongue. Tongue, you need to listen to this brain. And then I turn on the brain, and sometimes like, oh, that worked. I heard a word. Yay. And then you just go and keep going. But it's, actually teaching what is happening, but encouraging them that, this works. You've got a great brain. We just got to get it to talk to the other parts.
I can say that my best session ever, sorry, Otis, it was when I was with SLP together with me. I can't forget this session. As a physiotherapist and she as SLP, a perfect work. I was preparing the body, as you can say, and because of this, the whole organs were in a nice way, and the SLP did her job.
Yeah.
So of course, my PT brain is trying to figure out how to obviously not duplicate the equine movement, but to simulate what do you think it is about the movement of the horse that is it is the factor. The fact that he likes to go backwards, obviously, he's got the visual flow in reverse, which I find interesting. And so I wonder if, is he of a vestibular seeker? Do you find him to be seeking movement when he's off the horse?
Yes. Yeah, not, I've got some that are really, really hyper. He's
Right,
not
yeah,
like
no, he
off
looks
the
like, yeah,
chain. He's not
yeah,
off the chain hyper, but
Yeah.
he does like swings. Like he
Okay.
does like the swings, not a lot of jump, 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 not that much,
okay,
but definitely rhythmic. I think it's
Okay.
the rhythmicity
yeah, yeah,
of that,
Okay.
of the movement sort of regulates him. And I
Yeah.
think when he goes backwards, I think it's less visual for him. I think he can shut down some of the visual and he gets the rocking motion, which helps him relax. I don't know, with the song and the movement and the rhythm,
yeah,
maybe that's where the song is coming out. But when you turn him around, I think there's too much in his visual field to distract him, because we do have a lot
because of
of
the horse's
animals.
head, and yeah,
We got animals all over. We've got,
okay,
we got stray dogs, and they've got a herd of sheep, and we've got a herd of cows, and we have the other horses. And I think when he's backwards, he doesn't see as much of that. He just sees the back of the butt of the horse, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
And then I think it's the rhythmicity, because we put him on Chonita specifically because Sherman is not as rhythmic. He's that older clunk, clunk, clunk,
Yeah.
clunk, clunk horse.
Okay.
Whereas Chonita is much more rhythmic. She's much more flexible. She's much more routine and specific and reproducible. And I think that's what gets his singing gig on, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so just trying to figure out how, how to translate this off the horse, like what tools could you use that would provide that, like being on a ball and you controlling the bounce of the ball, or like you said, the swing, to try to incorporate then these similar songs while he's doing that, to just, be able to translate it into a more functional,
Right.
since he doesn't live on the horse.
I know. It'd be nice for him to talk when he's not on the horse.
Yes.
That would be nice. Yeah. It's interesting because his father's actually a homeopathic doctor, alternative medicine type doctor. So that's where his brain is. And he puts him on all these supplements, and, he's on very strict diets and things like that. He's incorporating a lot of what he is trying to do. But he was unsuccessful in all of what he was doing until he wound up at the horse. And that's when it's putting him, and he was so discouraged, the dad, because he was doing everything quote unquote right. Even some wacky stuff that he was going to try and do was like giving him like hydrogen chloride, or I don't know, some crazy thing that sounded like bleach to me. I'm like, no, no, no. And so now he's much more encouraged that the horse is bringing out his language. So thank goodness.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Susan, you were talking about your swing setup a couple sessions ago. I mean, he's although you say he likes swings, are you talking about like a playground type swing when you say he likes swings?
Right now it's funny you say that, we're getting a playground built, which they will have all kinds of different swings. They're coming down from the States. But right now I just have one. It's not even a platform swing. It's one of those, he doesn't like to hold on to anything. So I can't really use the ring swing, but we do have one. It's like a pod swing, I think it is. So it's flat on the bottom,
Okay.
but it's a pod swing. It's not a Lycra swing, although I just actually bought one of those and it's in my mailbox. So in San Diego to pick up a Lycra swing, but this one is just like a pod swing. So it's like, it cuts out a lot of his visual field, and it does swing him, and you can get him to go vestibular. But he does like the rhythmic rocking back and forth more than just like going around in a circle really fast.
Okay.
That's what he's using now.
Sounds good. I would think possibly that's the next place where you'll see a carryover of language because of that vestibular. It's obviously very organizing for him, and it's incredible that he has all that language inside. He just needs the right setup to get it out.
Yeah. Yeah, you should have seen him. I'm like, I can't believe he's actually singing a whole bunch. I mean, it wasn't like word for word or anything, but he was definitely doing the sounds,
Mhm.
E-I-E-I-O, and that was very clear. And then it was going, and then you'd hear some words coming out. But that's the most he's ever even vocalized before. The vocalization wasn't there. He was a silent kid. But
I
whoa,
have to
What
I
a
was
great
gonna add
story.
just-
Thanks for
I was gonna
sharing.
add in
that.
there that one of the biggest motivators for the little kiddo that like I had that sings Old MacDonald on when he's on the horse facing backwards, he loves it too. I don't know. I guess it's a thing. For the kids with AU, I don't know. I just noticed they do like it. But I also have the little toy barn, and the little toy barn afterwards he asks for it now. He'll ask for the E-I-E-I-O. And it's a little toy barn, and we get out the animals. He names the animals, like we work on trying to say the sounds for the animals. Then I make them say, oh, where is he? Went up, he went in, just adding in those words, those little simplification words along with it. And you can build on
Okay.
language that way. But
okay.
I don't know if he'd be motivated by that after he's singing Old MacDonald. Maybe he likes like that kind of a concept if he saw a toy that was related to that song as well.
He might even when he's on the
Possibly.
swing. I wonder if he's on a swing, like a platform swing, even maybe. Who knows? Maybe he would be more apt to do that. Because I did buy a platform swing too. So I'm excited to see what I can do with that.
Yeah, from the PT perspective, and I know this isn't even necessarily for this child, but I love putting the kids on their tummies on the platform swing with their arms and like their, axilla up off the swing, and you can swing them and you can have different things positioned so that they're reaching or they're, on the, when you're bringing them back, they're picking up something that's on the ground. And then when they're swinging forward, they're putting something up so that you're engaging that core, and again, I don't know if that would be appropriate for him, but I know I've used that for kids who needed more of the upper extremity.
Yeah, he has motor planning issues, 100%. He's got a lot of motor planning issues, trying to figure out how to get on things and around things and over things.
But even too, like you were just saying, just even literally sitting on the platform with either a little toy barn or the toy animals or whatever, so that he's getting the rhythm and they're right there with him. Yeah, that's so great that you now will have all that. And the Lycra swings, it's funny because I can't imagine being in one of those. I just kind of weirds me out. But oh my gosh, the kids loved it.
I know, I'm claustrophobic, so it's a rough go for me, but I put them in there. They love it. Yeah.
And on the platform swing, if he could propel himself with his upper extremity, hands on the gymnastics mat, that would be even better because research shows that if you combine proprioceptive input with vestibular input, it helps the brain process the vestibular input better.
Wow, that's exciting. That's cool.
Right, which is definitely what he's getting on the horse. And and definitely would be receiving that from the swing. But yeah, absolutely, Amy, that's so true.
Okay, I'm excited.
All right, let me pull up another video.
Weird, it's almost like it's muted. So here he dropped it and he said, uh-oh. So he knew
that's a bummer that we're not hearing any of that.
I don't know why. It's almost like it's muted or something, but yeah, his dad comes flying over. That's his dad. He comes flying over because he's seeing him saying something. He's like, and he ran over to see it. That was a good day for dad. That was a great day for dad because there's dad. Because he reacted to it falling and he said, uh-oh. And so she's like, uh-oh. And he picked it up, which is another spontaneous thing that he wasn't doing before.
Any other speech questions or things that you wanted to discuss, since we have a record number of speech people here tonight?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and so that is, I guess, the most frustrating thing for me. There's, as far as speech, there's two girls that are nonverbal too, but she doesn't, they aren't really autistic. They just, it seems to me that they're just scared or they lack confidence that they don't want to speak. We do put them on the horse and things. It's like they're, I don't know. It's like she's not like they're otherwise they're 100% appropriate. You know, I mean, they talk, they play, they copy, they mimic, but they don't come out. It doesn't, like the words don't come out. It's like there's a short circuit between the brain and the mouth. And I noticed that they're very, very shy or timid in their personality. And I don't know if that's a thing, that it's just, they just need a lot more encouragement than most kids. I mean, but the other weird thing is this one that I know, she's three. She's barely saying anything. We're just starting to get her stuff, and she doesn't want to be potty trained. Like, she still wears a diaper. She screams and cries. Like, there's something about not wanting to be toilet trained. And I don't know if there's somewhere in your speech world where there's a connection with not talking and not wanting to not wanting to get out of the diaper. I don't know. Is there a sensory thing, or have you seen that?
What are their medical diagnoses?
None. They don't have any. It's Mexico. Matter of fact, the only reason I know her is because her older sister is a brachial plexus injury at birth. So I was just treating the brachial plexus injury at birth, and so the little girl would come and come and come, and I'm like, I kept noticing. I'm like, okay, she's 2, now she's 3, now she's 3.5, now she's pushing 4. I'm like, she's not talking.
And they're not
She's not
talking at
saying-
home around familiar people either?
A
Like
little
with
bit.
mom and
The
dad?
only thing well, this woman particularly has, this little girl is 3. She also has a little boy who's like 18 months. He babbles more than her. So that's when she really noticed it. She goes, my younger boy is babbling more than her. And so she noticed that. But her older sister with brachial plexus, she is like up and down, and she's the opposite. She's 100% on fire. She's Miss Personality. She's super talkative. She's super hyper. She's super dancing around. And this one is just like in her sister's shadow, maybe. I don't know, super quiet. And then when we first started with it, now she's whispering. She'll whisper instead of saying, we ask her, see, she goes, see, like she just whispers it. I'm like, wow, there it is. There's a word, and now it's slowly coming, but it's like 3 years. She's like 3. And it does have to do with, if we've been around her a really long time, she'll start getting a little bit more bold and say a few more, like 1 or 2 more words. And then if somebody else that comes in that she doesn't know, boom, it's gone. Like she will not.
It's like selective mutism,
She will not.
and that
go
has a
there.
psychological component that probably needs to be addressed.
Okay.
It's not
'Cause
necessarily altogether speech.
it's just not normal. Like, I'm thinking that's so weird. But anyway, yeah, I thought, well, is this? Yeah, that's the problem with us. There's no real diagnosing, and there's no speech therapist. There's no speech pathologist. So it's really hard to get a speech pathology, diagnosis when there aren't speech pathologists around. It's not a thing here. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, between the aphasias and all these, and we don't have them. Yeah.
So this little 3-year-old that you're just talking about right now, she has been on the horse?
She goes on the horse. Like before, she would scream and cry and she would be so scared. And then over months and months of putting her on there, finally she'll go on it. Yeah. And she'll go on it now with the movement and everything we do with the movement. We do the activities. Like I said, she'll do the activities, she's dead on, like, put the yellow one here, like cognitively, she understands everything. She plays with a doll, and, she's appropriate as far as, feeding the baby a bottle, and like, she'll play with her, but she won't, the words don't come out. And now after about a year, she's got like a few words she'll say, like maybe 5, maybe 5 words, but in the toileting is like, no way. she just, maybe you're right. Maybe it is a psychological thing too. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, has anybody here addressed any toileting issues? I know it's a very common issue, especially with people on the spectrum.
Mhm.
But it's not something that I had really any experience with. But I know there are becoming specialists in that that area because it's such a need.
Well, because she
Um,
can't go to school, like she, I mean, she's like in three, she can't go,
Oh,
they won't,
gosh.
they won't
Okay.
let her go to school or preschool because she's not potty trained. And so that's the big problem too.
Does she acknowledge if she's wet or if she's
She just
pooped?
walks with her legs farther apart, like, and she might want to get changed or something, but her mom has even tried to like just let her walk around without a diaper and stuff like that, just to see. And then she just screams, and she just screams and her mom gets tired of hearing her scream. So that's why she stops, whatever. But I didn't know if there was any relationship between the not talking and the toileting. I didn't know if there was any thing
It
that
sounds like
is
there
connected.
could be, and it sounds like Lisa may have kind of hit that nail on the head. Do you know anything about this child's social history?
Just not really, honestly. It's just that, I mean, the mom it's always hard. The mom always seems to be a good mom. She comes all the time. She's really good with Melissa. Melissa's the one with the brachial plexus. I actually took her to LA with me. And so I've seen the mom interact with Melissa and everything seems pretty okay and normal and legit, it's just, I almost thought maybe she's just really quiet because Melissa is so active and so crazy and so, the complete opposite personality wise of this little girl, complete opposite. So I thought maybe she's just like intimidated by her sister being so outspoken.
What about the male aspect of the family?
Good question. It's hard to tell because the men don't come. I mean, there is a man in there is a dad in the picture, but we don't go to their houses and he never comes to the therapy or anything. And she's never said anything. But maybe there is something.
Yeah, that kind
could
of
be. Put the social worker part of me in the little psychological part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other big buzzword in Australia, I'm not sure if it's the same there, is interoception. So that's definitely comes up around toilet training and everyone's talking about that at the moment. And suddenly it seems to be what all of these kids are dealing with as well. So that might be a part of it too.
Interoception.
Well, in her case, she would be lacking interoception as opposed to being hypersensitive with interoception. Just that idea of awareness of like stomach hurting or, feeling, I guess, the urge to urinate or defecate. And she may just be that may be very dampened with her.
Maybe I was thinking of having her go to the neurologist just to see what he thought. We have a pediatric neurologist
or
psychologist
or a genitourinary. What would that one be?
What would that one be? Doesn't sound like something we have here.
Yeah.
You could do a basic urologist.
I'm lucky if I have a pediatrician. I got the basics here.
And we do see sometimes where if an older sibling is doing all the talking, the next one down or a younger one doesn't have to talk. They just kind of figure out that, well, older sibling's going to do it all for me. But the control issue with the potty training is worrisome.
Yeah.
Or whatever's going on with that.
Yeah. True.
Are there social workers there, or are you wearing that hat too, Susan?
We pretty much wear that hat too. Yeah, the social workers call us. Hey, there's a problem here. I'm like, yeah, I know. But in our environment, it's hard to do those things. It's not like you're going to call somebody to go and check on their family situation. Although maybe that might be a good idea for me, is to maybe do a home visit in this case, just to see what the environment is kind of like. That could be, I could easily do something like that because the mom would be okay with me doing that. And that might help to see. And I think part of that is Melissa does talk for her.
She does finish her sentences, and she does, you know, when you see them interacting and playing and stuff. Melissa will definitely, because she's good with Melissa. I mean, if anybody she talks to at all, it's going to be Melissa. Melissa can get her to say stuff that, because now she's saying no, you know, to her sister. When her sister's being too much, she's like, no. So maybe I can do a home visit that might see, and then maybe encourage them to do certain things at home, maybe. I don't know. All right. Well,
Hey, Megan, you had made the comment, you know, in the chat about the interoception. Do you have any other ideas?
Not really. There just could be a lot of different things going on in there, and not seeing her, it's really hard to weed out if it's, sometimes there's actually a vestibular connection to the bladder. Sometimes it's an interoception thing. Sometimes it's a control thing. Sometimes it's an abuse thing. And that there's so many different things that could impact that challenge. I think it's worth checking all of them out. And I like your idea of a home visit.
Okay.
Just to feel that out, since you do have fewer resources there. It would be worth referring to a urologist, but that doesn't really sound like the problem is she's voiding fine. It's probably more either a body awareness sensory connection or a control issue. And then you have to figure out why she has the control issue.
Yeah.
And the selective mutism type of behavior.
Which is, like you said, a big psychological thing.
So that selective mutism is usually a psychological component, or has a psychological component to it usually.
Yeah, in my experience, there's a big anxiety component and a big control component, like almost an OCD type anxiety. And you can do some sensory strategies for it, but until you really get the psychological piece, you're not going to make a lot of progress with that part.
Yes,
usually.
with selective mutism, I mean, it's to the point, they'll talk all fine with certain people that they select that they're comfortable talking with, but if they're in a situation like where you are, for example, and she's, even if she gets injured, like she would maybe even want so much control over not expressing herself, she wouldn't even cry or express that she's hurt. So that they can go that extreme. So they're trying, it's a control. Seems to be a control aspect.
There might be that control actually sounds like that. Between the control and anxiety, I think between the two of those, that sounds about right. For sure.
Everything that's been said, I would also emphasize that sensory integration might be an appropriate treatment technique. Just put her on the swing, get a lot of heavy work into her, and just with everything that you described, the anxiety, the control, the withholding speech, the potty training, if it would make sense if there were some sensory integration challenges going on. A lot of times when kids seek control, it's because so much of their life is out of control to them. Maybe they don't know what they're going to see or feel or hear or experience sensory wise. And so I would just hit it at all angles with the sensory. And then just a fun little exercise that can help with potty training if there's any kind of weak pelvic floor at all is snow angels, just having them lie down on a gymnastics mat and do snow angels. Doesn't hurt if you want to just try to increase some of that muscle awareness and muscle activation in the pelvic floor. I've had a lot of success with that. So every time I see the kid, I'll have them do, like 10 snow angels on the ground at soup time.
Okay, that'll work, because she does like to do like obstacle courses and stuff. She does like to roll and play. Like, I have to encourage her quite a bit, but after she gets going and encourage her, she actually likes it.
That was my other question. Is she consistent with her motor abilities, or is that selective too?
She's not 100% consistent now. Like, she comes in super duper shy. Like, if you ever saw her without anybody knowing anything, she just seems crazy shy, hanging on to mom, hiding behind mom and stuff. And then slowly we can get her out to play a little bit. And then if Melissa's there, she'll play more. And then as she spends more time with the same people and knows them better, she seems a little bit safer to play. And we can get her to jump on a trampoline, we can get her to do different things. Then all of a sudden, if somebody comes into the room that she doesn't know, boom, she just stops. and just stands there and just won't do anything until that person leaves. And then she'll, slowly you can get her back into engaging again.
Yeah, I think that's pretty consistent, and maybe some sensory defensiveness pieces as well. So if you treat it like Amy was saying but I wouldn't overload it. I would stick with more of the calming, organizing sensory inputs for now and not just go crazy on the spinning or irregular movements. I would keep that steady rhythm, that heavy work piece, and see if you can get any calming activities that way, or what other tactile system calming things you have, and see if you can start with that and just build. And then I'm not sure what your sensory background is, but if you start there, then you probably won't overdo it.
Yeah,
you
I don't
just
think
need
she
to
would
do it that
tolerate
way.
overdoing it. If you overdo
Doesn't
it,
sound
then
like
she,
it.
yeah, she doesn't like it. If you overdo it, then it's too much for her.
Mhm.
The activities, things that she can have success on. Because if there's an anxiety type of issue, you want her that everything she does, you want her to have success doing it and not doubt if she can do it. Kind of that building
yeah.
up.
Yeah, 100% that's what she needs, for sure. Like, she's definitely acts different when you really go, wow, that was great, good job, you did that, so great. Then you'll see the smile, yeah. But if you do something, if you give her something that's too overwhelming or challenging for her, she just goes quiet. Yep, I'm done. Like a light switch, boom. And you can tell right away, oops, not good. Okay, this is good, this isn't good. Like, she tells you right away from her facial expressions just go flat, when she's overwhelmed with something.
I would make a big deal of how she was successful as well. Like, wow, that was really tricky, and you tried again, and you did such a great job, and keep it successful, like Shannon said, but also talk her through the psychological process of how she tried and she did it. And maybe it was hard, and maybe it was tricky to try something new, but my goodness, you did it. And then you can kind of lay that foundation for the next step when maybe she's ready for a teeny bit of a jump, and just go slow as can be and keep the routine consistent so that she has something that's really predictable in your session. And then maybe carry that over into home. Like, how can you make her home life a little bit more predictable so she has some more control? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, there's times when she doesn't even seem confident enough to even blow bubbles. Like, she is so she physiologically probably could, but she's so shy. She doesn't want to make those big movements with her mouth, like that's like too much for her.
That sounds so much like selective mutism and motor center planning issues. But so then you can give her the choice. Can you hold the wand or the bubbles while we blow bubbles? And you can blow the bubbles, but she still can participate in whatever way
she would do that. She would do that. She would definitely be a part of it.
So it's you don't have to blow the whole bubble.
Committed to blow the bubbles now.
Right, because that's too stressful. She could fail. Yes. The bubble might not work.
Exactly.
And then you need to mess up the bubbles and be like, oh man, the bubble didn't blow this time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And she would laugh at that. Again. She would think that's funny.
Yeah, you had to mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like giving her choices in general might be good for most of the kids that have those control issues. Just, do you want to blow bubbles or play with the rings or whatever? Just to give lots of choices might help her feel more in control about how the treatment session goes.
Yeah. And mom does tend to baby her, and she actually babies Melissa too, because Melissa's got the brachial plexus injury and stuff. And instead of watching her struggle with things, fine motor especially, she'll go ahead and do it for her, where she definitely could do some of these things by herself, but her mom will jump in too soon, not wanting to see her struggle. Yeah, not wanting to see her struggle. Yeah, oh yeah.
The mom's job.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh yeah. She's difficult mama, Mexican mama too. Let mommy do that for you. Yeah.
In Greece also.
Oh, see, yeah. Not just, it's not
Typical
just here.
Greek mama too.
It's not just here. Okay, good.
Take your coat before going outside, please.
That's
Great, wow.
Yeah, I think we're getting to the crux of her issue, actually.
Yeah, yeah. She's got mommy issues for sure.
Yeah, and of course, I want to go off on the tangent of the brachial plexus too. It's like, does she have a complete rupture? Avulsion? Rupture?
Yeah, she's 6 years old, and so I took her. I did get her up to specialists at Shriners in Pasadena to see if they were going to do tendon transfers or anything like that, and they said because she did not have a latissimus dorsi, so they usually use the latissimus, I guess, to maybe use that. No external rotation. She has bicep and no tricep. And so I didn't know what they could do or if they could do it, because I've never really worked with a young kid with that, just adults from trauma. So they said, no, it's not really a surgical thing because no lats.
Well, but
so
no tendon transfer, but not a sural nerve transfer either.
I don't know. They didn't offer her anything surgically. She is 6, and maybe it's because she's older too. She's 6 years old. I don't know. I thought maybe they did those earlier. I don't know. So we did get a OT. So I was like, oh, please at least give me something. You know, we don't have any OTs. And so they gave me this OT visit, and he gave me a splint so that it's a night splint so that she doesn't, because she has a little bit of a flexion contraction in her elbow. So that was for that. And he's giving us some good ideas on putting little loops and things on her zippers to help her and all these crazy ways, you know, to get her
Well, using her
better,
biceps instead of her
to get her
triceps, if
ADLs
she's got
better.
biceps. Yeah.
Yeah. And different ways to hold her pencil and things like that. But she is quite, I mean, she's amazing. And so she'll like prop her arm up on stuff. The hardest part is no tricep whatsoever. And it's so
That's
hard
tough.
to do stuff. Yeah.
That is tough.
Yeah,
Gosh.
but anyway, she's spunky little girl. She does a lot, but anyway.
I've got your OT video pulled up. Do you want to show that? The video that the OT did for you?
What video though? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you want me to show that? All I know is she moves kind of quickly, so you'll get a little seasick. At least I did while I was watching the first part of it as I was transferring it. But anyway, I haven't even seen the whole thing as I downloaded it, so.
That's the pod swing I was talking about. He's 5 years old, Down syndrome, almost 6.
I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, I mean, we had an OT that came for a couple of days, first time ever, and so she was looking at some of my kids and giving her 2 cents in it. Like you saw those 2 kids, syndrome day Downs, the Down syndrome kids. The little girl is 3 years old, and she's just sitting by herself. That's it. She's not crawling. She's not doing anything. And the boy is 5 and still not walking. We got those are the lowest level Downs that we have. So
yeah, it's interesting. Individuals with Downs have just hit the media like crazy. I imagine you guys have seen them too. Everything from the young man who won the Oscar for the short film, to the girl who is a Victoria's Secret model, It's, it's been amazing and very cool to see, although I have to question whether or not those folks are mosaic downs as opposed to full trisomy, every cell being involved. But anyway, yeah, it's been pretty cool just to see that. So it is, it's like truly the spectrum of Downs, just like the spectrum of autism with these kids that are so low tone and so motorically and cognitively challenged. And then the really, really high function ones. So,
Yeah, so that's our ranch. That's the ranch. So those are some of the rooms that we are still in the process of developing, but everybody comes and gives a little bit more and they tell me a little bit more and we add a little bit more and we keep going forward. Yeah.
Susan, do they pay from their own pocket or from the government, or it is free?
It's free. Yeah, it's a Christian ministry. It's a Christian ministry. So everything is free. We're just there as missionaries. And so we just get whatever we get in a month and we just do what we can with what we have. And we don't do what we don't have. And so it's kind of, some months are better than others, but we just do what we can. And there are some people that are a little bit more financially okay. They have better jobs. So they might give us like $5 or $10. Some people will give us strawberries. Some people will give us stuff because they're most of them are field workers. So they'll bring us like green beans or, some of the products that they actually work in the fields. They'll bring us some of that stuff. So that's kind of fun. Yeah, but it's all.
I can understand you very well, because in our center we have about 70 patients in a week, and only 23 can pay from all of this. And so we can all the time find sponsors to cover the expenses.
Yeah.
17 years now.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's about it.
We are all volunteers except three employees.
3 staff. Yeah.
3 staff.
Yeah.
So can you, are you able to share your email? I would love to be in touch, and I'd even love to come visit.
I would love that.
I would love to, since I'm bilingual and the whole, I think it would be a great exchange.
I would. Yeah, no, I would 100% love that. I think I can. Technology is not my strong side, but I think I put it in the chat.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're in Ensenada, so we're only 2.5 hours south of San Diego. It's not terrible to get to.
And Susan, you're always good about following up and posting after we have these meetings. So if you do that again and just remind everybody your contact then too, I think that'll be great. But yeah, Lisa, do you see that? She's added it there. And then Joanne had made a comment here, Susan, going back to the girl that we were discussing with the selective mutism and the toilet training issues that Joanne had said, look at whether she can stay dry and for how long. So Joanne, you were saying this would delineate an anxiety issue versus a physical or neurological issue with control. So you're saying if she could stay dry for a longer period of time, that's showing that
she has the control.
More of a
physical control.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a neurological problem. It would be more of an anxiety issue that she doesn't want to go because she's afraid of letting go.
That's what I feel like it might be, but I'm going to ask the mom, because so if she can go for a long time without being wet, then it's not neurological.
How long does she stay dry?
Okay, I'll definitely ask the mom about that. My gut feeling just by her personality is it's a psychological thing. Like she's afraid to go. Like, I don't know, like she'll sit her on the potty and she'll just be, like, I don't know, like anxiety. I think it's an anxiety thing from what I think, but I'm going to ask the mom.
And then Joanne, Megan was saying she was wondering if there's a time issue or, like a certain amount of time. So Megan, do you want to elaborate on that?
No, I'm just going back to when I potty trained my own kids, which wasn't that long ago. And I think that I had read like one of the potty training readiness signs, like you were saying, Joanne, is to be able to be dry for about 2 hours in between needing to void, depending on, you know, how hydrated they are and all those things. But if they are being wet every half hour, then like you said, that would be an issue. If it's like 6 hours, then that's probably an issue as well. So I feel like the potty training books were roughly 2 hours between urinating, but I wasn't sure if you had anything to add because my memory is a little fuzzy.
Been a long time since my kids potty trained. But yeah, I mean, I just think that if they can stay dry, even like for 2 hours, it's showing you that they can hold it. I mean, otherwise you've got those kids with the neurological issues that leak continuously, that are always
Right,
that are
right.
never dry.
Well, I mean, she'll
Right.
be at therapy and I'll be working with Melissa and I look over there and her diaper is so wet that it's like hanging down and it's almost at her knees and she's still playing like it doesn't bother her. I'm thinking, doesn't she feel that by now? I mean, she's too old to not want to go get rid of this big thing underneath there.
Well, no, those Pampers, they don't feel the wetness on those either.
I guess.
Cloth diapers, they used to feel them being wet.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say
don't
too.
care.
Okay.
Diapers are
Maybe.
so absorbent now. What you could try if she would tolerate it would be to put training underwear underneath her diaper or pull up so that she does feel the wetness, but you'd have to watch it really closely so that she doesn't get a yeast infection or something like that from being wet too long. So that would only be kind of once you've worked through some of her other challenges. If you really don't think she can feel the wetness, I think you've got to look at the interoception part and can she identify any of that? Like, can she tell when her hand is wet? What about like her shirt? Can you play with squirt guns one time and like see how she does with a wet shirt? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea though. Just to see.
Well, and it's interesting too, though, because you're talking about that diaper being so full, like literally that's more than interoception at that point. That's exteroception because, you know, that your legs are feeling
heavy.
that. That's not just internal at that point. So yeah, that's
her registration could be pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Do you have access to like a sensory profile or any sort of thing? They make them in Spanish now, just to see what the mom's take on some of the stuff at home is and get a line on any of that.
I can look one up. I can maybe have her do that. She's a pretty attentive mom for the most part. So I would do that.
You can get them through there's a lot of online resources for that now. And I want to say it was only $25 or something like that if you don't need the manual. And I'm sure any of us would help interpret something like that if you just wanted to get the form. Usually they don't count it as scored until they turn it in, you complete it. Like the sensory processing measure, the sensory profile, there's online forms for that. I'm just curious what, like Carol said, what her registration overall is if.
Yeah, I don't know. I can do that.
Yeah, and then the other thing, I'm just wondering about the actual kind of diapers that are available to the families, because I know there are diapers that literally have those stripes on them that go from, what is it, blue to yellow if they've peed.
Yellow to blue.
If somebody's trying to document how, you know, whether they're wet or not, you're going to need some kind of visual cue to know how long she's going. So if there's any access to that type of diaper that has the visual on the outside.
Also, just a thought, if they're in a financial challenge, are they purposely going longer between changing the diaper because diapers are about 50 cents each?
That's for sure. That'll definitely happen.
You know, I mean, there are some people that are like, oh, it's not that wet, we'll just keep going. But if she's not really registering it, then that can kind of
they definitely try to get the most bang for buck. That's for sure. They're not going to change it when it's just a little wet. That's for sure.
Well, it's, you know, this is what I think is just so cool about this group is we never know what
what direction it's gonna go.
Yeah, what avenue will we end up taking? So this has been very interesting conversation. It's going to be curious to hear, people who are watching this video later, what they think of it as well. Hopefully they'll make some comments in the chat. So I do want to say that Maria actually would love to share some of her patients with us too,
Great.
which I think would be a great
Very
learning experience for us.
Yep.
So Maria, I'm wondering if, and you all let me know, I'm about to be gone for a bit. So May the 15th would be a good day for me to return back. Is that a good day for folks here?
Sure.
Okay, Maria, would you like to select somebody to present to us, and you can share, share screen and share the videos, or you can send, you saw that, the snippets, unfortunately, well, I mean, you've had ways that you've sent me longer videos.
If somebody help me, maybe Beth knows, I know, I'm not sure. If I can do it through iPhone, my mobile, I have everything there, not laptop, I mean, in order to have access to my videos. I have albums and I have very well organized.
So we
in
need
my
to figure
iPhone.
out, so if anybody here, do you all have a platform that you use that you like for video transfer?
For instance, can I do it as we talked? For instance, how can I do it? Share content and go to, for instance, photos, but you cannot see anything. I have my photos in front of me, but you cannot see.
We don't see anything, no.
Yeah, how can we do it?
Depending on the length of the videos, you can email them as an attachment. And if I can open them up, I can save them on my computer and then bring them up.
Or maybe, because I didn't say to you that I also teach 9 years now to the university, the Department of Physiotherapy, and I teach only hippotherapy to the students of the master. They are attending the Master of Pediatric Physiotherapy. And when I'm talking to them through the Zoom and through my laptop, I can have access on Facebook or on Messenger, and I can do it. I will search it and I will be ready on 15th of May.
I think, Maria, that if you send to any of us in Messenger, I think I can copy it and put it on my computer from Messenger. You all know whether I can do that? So, I mean, Maria, you're so good at sending video through Messenger.
Yeah.
If you send them to me, then I will download them just as I've downloaded Susan's, and then I'll just play them from my computer.
Or you can play them from Messenger. Just pull up her.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Bravo. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can show you very interesting case studies, because
That would be wonderful.
I like very much the intensive projects. I didn't do it before. I learned it from Czech Republic people, fellows there, and I liked it a lot. For instance, I started an MS lady before 1 month. Now we are running about 8 sessions, and after 10 sessions, she will follow a normal way of therapy. For instance, once a week, because she's coming from another town, 1 hour by car driving. But it helps a lot, especially when it is in the beginning. I can see very big differences, because if you will start with somebody only once a week, and I see that it's difficult to see differences. You can start an intensive project and then go little by little, maybe. Or maybe you can have parts of intensive projects through the year, maybe 6 of them. we can discuss about this, but I found it very, very interesting. I
Mhm.
can show you a case study with a child. He's 5 years old now. I have the okay from his mom. A very good project. I will show you. And videos about 1 minute, 50 seconds, where you can see very clearly how the therapy is going on. And then I said, okay, we'll see. I'm very interested in this, and I would like to have your opinion about some patients to help me.
Sounds great.
That would
Listen,
be great.
Thank you, everyone. Listen, I'm gonna have to get off. My kids, we're on vacation and my kids are pacing.
Yes, your kids have been incredibly patient. We have definitely gone longer than usual. So to thank them for us, Susan, and
will.
yes, enjoy your vacation.
Thank you. Yeah, we have our foster kids here, and so they're on spring break, and so we're at a little hotel in Ensenada. So they want to go down to the pool, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming.
And really nice to meet you all. Really nice.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, it was
Thank you,
great
Carol.
to
Thank you,
meet
Carol.
you.
Yeah, thank you for your
Yes.
time. Thanks
And
for your time.
Carissa, so great
I'm
to
going to
have
sleep
you
now.
too.
I'm going to sleep.
Me too, me too.
All right, and if anybody wants
Thanks.
to help me for next time, since Sandra's going to be gone, just email me hippopt@aol.com.
All
All right.
I do
Good
have
night,
one
everybody.
question. Carol, I don't know. Are you still there?
Yes.
Quick question. So
Yes.
I did come on tonight because the announcement of the meeting mentioned Rett syndrome.
Yes.
And I don't know if anybody has experience. I have a new client coming on that has it. And so anybody that can share with me somehow any tidbits for that, or tell me where to go for.
So if you look through the Facebook group page, you know, where you found this,
Okay.
and just scroll down, or, you know, where you can look for topics.
Yes.
The video from our last session, we discussed Rett in depth
Oh, good.
last
Okay.
time.
Okay.
And so you can watch the video
Oh,
of
perfect.
conversation.
Yay. Okay,
Yes.
glad. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, originally when we left last time, you know, the intent was just to kind of finish up that conversation and then to move on. But then Susan came and said, look, I'd really, really like to discuss this. So we changed the topic. for
Okay,
her.
well, no, it was a great topic today too, but this is really great. I'm really excited. I got to come and hear everything. I'm definitely going to
Well,
join. in.
and we, you know, we appreciate your input.
Certainly.
You know, you had a lot of good insight.
Thank you so much. And I'll look up that other video. Perfect.
Yes, and just, you know, let me know, or, you know, just send me an email, or just write a comment in any of the, you know, posts, and I'll respond.
Oh, cool. Okay. Thank you so much. Good night,
All right.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.